Hello, hello. A minute early, kicking off this event. Just wanted to first check if everyone can hear me. So I'm going to put in the chat. Hello, can everyone hear me? Give people a couple of minutes to settle in. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Great. Okay, give people a couple of minutes. All right, well, we'll just get started, and as people trickle in, we'll keep it going. Thank you so much for coming to our session on how to harness Groundlight's computer vision to provide solutions for your clients, as well as how to build computer vision products. And if you're not familiar with Groundlight AI provides state-of-the-art computer vision. That includes fully managed training, evaluation, inference, edge options as well. Also backed by optional 24/7 exception handling, humans in the loop, labeling and auditing, which is a lot. So I'll break that down a bit more. But before that, I just wanted to give us our own little shout out. So Groundlight has been selected as of today. The announcement went out. AI Innovation of the Year finalist. So please, if you have a moment, please vote for us at geekwire.com/vote now. You'll have to scroll to the bottom of the page. The last question is AI innovation. So yeah, give us a vote. We would love to, of course, win that category, but it's been such an honor to be selected. So thank you, GeekWire, for having chosen Groundlight in this category. So Groundlight, when we say computer vision technology, what exactly do we mean? Groundlight is a fully managed computer vision solution where it is 24/7 human annotation. So you don't need to label all the images yourself. Groundlight provides an annotation by humans, and you can send out image queries at like 3 in the morning, and there'll be someone there to provide that annotation. AutoML, meaning that you don't need to pick a model or launch a training run. Groundlight handles all of this by giving you the best model for your problem every time. In addition to that, with Groundlight's ML Ops, Groundlight's infrastructure continuously trains, validates, and deploys models as more data becomes available. So you don't have to worry about that. That's all taken care of for you as well. And with our edge solutions, we have on-premises deployment, so you can have real-time predictions. And if you have questions about any of these, feel free to reach out at any point. Of course, we're happy to dig further into these details, but this is just a breakdown. Like, this is essentially what we mean by a fully managed computer vision solution. So our promise is that you can turn any developer into a computer vision expert. Years ago, you needed to basically like have a PhD in machine learning sciences. We have, and with Groundlight, you don't need to do that today. Basically, you get the performance of a custom model with the ease and use of calling a simple API. You can build state-of-the-art applications. You can have a team that does it for you, and you don't need to hire an extensive team of machine learning experts internally. And so when we say you, who do we mean by that? We work with a lot of different industries and a lot of different partners, but this presentation is more aimed towards like, hey, if you're an AI development company and you might be working on a project by project basis, and maybe you have a client who has a problem that can be solved using computer vision. And so you're looking for a computer vision solution. And Groundlight, in your case, is going to be the most efficient and cost-effective way to deliver the high-quality demos and POCs that scale quickly into production systems. However, we also work with large tech companies. So in this case, maybe you want to launch or build a product or feature that harnesses the power of computer vision, but how do you do that without becoming an AI company yourself, right? And a lot of these companies along the way, they discover how difficult it really is to build models that work reliably across your entire footprint. And as I mentioned before, our infrastructure automatically adapts and trains models for all your locations and environments and monitors and maintains them with the best in class MLOps. And that said, we also work with startups as well. And startups in particular, you're looking to be efficient with your resources. And I think we see a lot of startups who try to start out building everything in-house, and they realize quickly that it's not necessarily easy to do so. So Groundlight is basically a way for you to, build a solution internally and do it in the most scalable and cost-effective way. And really quickly, I've been talking a little bit about Groundlight, but just to remind you about basically who we are. Our founders are Leo and Avi, extensive backgrounds from Amazon as well as Microsoft. And we have on our ML and science engineering team, we have a range of extensive backgrounds. That is to say, I work with really smart and brilliant people every day. Every day I'm humbled. And we work a lot across many different industries, given that computer vision applications can be built across these industries, such as industrial and manufacturing. Groundlight can integrate with VMS systems as well. We also have many applications when it comes to safety and facility monitoring, such as is someone wearing PPE or not, as well as mobile robotics. And just a shout out also that we are SOC 2 compliant. So some examples of what you can do with Groundlight AI, and hopefully you can see the video here. Let me know if you can't. Let me see, play it. So this is just an example, and we have applications engineers internally. So if you're ever interested in the code and you want to be able to like, okay, how do I do that? So here's an example of where you can, quote unquote, create like an inventory monitoring system. So is the person touching an item? We have binary classification that's available on the free level tier. So you can log in, create an account and use that today. We also have object character recognition, text recognition. So you can recognize labels on items on the shelf, for example. Or if you have, products that you need to be able to recognize the labels, maybe on a production line, that's possible. Object detection and counting, how many AI kits are on the shelf, if you want to do like an inventory count in this case. And then we also have multi-class available as well. So a lot of different tasks that can be completed using Groundlight. And if you have specific questions in regards to app development for these, we have internal applications engineers who'd be happy to help you and help you find, the correct repo or the correct code snippet to help you deploy these types of applications. Next. Oh, okay. So how does it work on a high level? So using Groundlight's Python SDK, it's pretty simple. With a few lines of code, you can deploy a model. So here's an example of where you create a detector and you named it hard hat. And using natural language, you just ask a binary query. Is everyone in the frame wearing a proper PE? Sorry. You also can define what proper PE means for you. So that's what makes Groundlight so customizable and flexible. So this is just an example of how you would do it using Groundlight's Python SDK. And it connects to your existing cameras. If you're doing this for the first time, and I'll show you later some of the getting started apps, but if you're doing this for the first time, it's essentially using your laptop camera. If you don't have an external camera, set up. Don't be too shocked when you're going through the step-by-step process and it ends up taking pictures of yourself. So that's just it's like the hello world equivalent of launching your application. In this case, you can do is the thumb facing up or down if you're looking to test out GroundLight for the first time. However, you can also create what we call detectors. And when I say detector, it's basically what you are detecting. It's your computer vision model. You can also do that using GroundLight's dashboard, dashboard.groundlight.ai. And in this case, here is the detector, is the work cell set up correct? And you just type it in directly into the dashboard, just like this. And we have a new feature rolled out where it shows you projected system accuracy as well as percent answered by machine learning. So you can basically, as you're adjusting the confidence, you can see how that projected system accuracy changes. So to explain confidence here, this is key when it comes to GroundLight's platform. This is to say, if you set it at 0.90, this is to say if the system is less than 90% certain of whether the work cell is set up correctly or not, it'll escalate to a real human in real time. So here's an example of that. Here is a camera pointed at a work cell setup, and the system sees someone left a water bottle there for the first time. It has never seen this before. Say the AI reviews basically, and it says, no, I don't think the work cell is set up correctly, but I'm only 70% sure. I don't know how to answer this. So as a result, because it's less than 90% sure, it's going to escalate to a real human. And that human is going to review that same image in real time, and they're going to confirm, hey, AI, you are correct. The work cell is not set up correctly. And as a result, AI learns from the answer, and the system, as a result, says no, and the user is alerted. And here's an example of one notification that you can set up even easily from GroundLight's dashboard. You can set up a notification that, hey, whenever, let me know whenever the work cell is not correct, and it'll give you this picture of the work cell, as well as, hey, by the way, at this time, 3:24 a.m., you got like a notification that it is not set up correctly. And that's basically how the system works at a high level. That is to say, there's humans in the loop, and those humans are in turn guiding and telling the basically your model, your specifications. And as for, in terms of analytics and insights, you can customize those. Some people want to be able to provide inspection reports. Some people want to be able to, like if you're building a security application, maybe you want to be able to provide an easy and quick way to review any types of security threats. And as I mentioned, there's different ways to deploy. I'm not going to be talking about these first two options too much, but we have an integration with Universal Robots, the industrial robot. We also have an integration with the Boston Dynamics robot. So if you are ever curious about those, let me know. But we also have edge-based deployments available as well. This is called the GroundLight Hub. So you can run computer vision on premises. And as I mentioned before, API and ROS integrations for robotics as well as custom applications. So the GroundLight Hub, I'm just going to mention it. It allows for edge-based machine learning deployments for lower costs and latency. And if you're curious about that, feel free to reach out to me. We have a lot of people who want to run it on, okay, I want to run it on Logic. I want to run it on this hardware specifically. What camera do I use? We can make all those recommendations for you, and we can help you if you want to run GroundLight for an edge-based machine learning deployment. We can help you with that. But essentially, it is a plug-and-play way to run computer vision on site. So I'm going to touch a little bit upon how the model gets started and how over time it will rely less and less on escalations to humans. So a lot of people will ask, okay, like how does the human escalation portion, how does that exactly work? Will it be like that all the time? And here's an example of where our applications engineers, they just took a video and they created an application to detect if the person is touching an item on the shelf. And so very simple, just is the person touching an item on the shelf? And it's identifying as well people. So you can see that here is a graph that shows the detector escalation over time. So this is the amount of queries, the percentage of queries that were escalated to a human in real time as the detector started working. So you can see that in the beginning, it's asking for help a lot. And this is because it's just getting started. It's trying to understand your specifications. And you can see that over time, it's pretty much running on its own. It does not need any guidance from a human, unless, say, for example, the scene changes, say the camera gets bumped, that's how we maintain the flexibility here. And as a result, we get 99% accuracy, as opposed to with GPT-4o, we see 54%. So this is essentially how humans in the loop allows your application to work on day one. So touching a little bit about Groundlight versus traditional computer vision and even LLMs that handle vision problems. So we have traditional computer vision, and we have a lot of LLMs that are doing more that are handling more vision problems, and then we have Groundlight. So what are the trade-offs between these? So with traditional computer vision, you need a lot of data. You need experts to find that data, organize that data, clean that data, and of course with LLMs, zero data is required. We think that with Groundlight, we are data efficient. So you just need key examples to clarify ambiguity. It's basically trained to your specifications. And as a result, it's more data efficient. With traditional computer vision and LLMs, with traditional computer vision, it only answers specific questions versus LLMs, it can answer any question at all. And then with Groundlight, it's answering a specific question. So like I showed you that binary question of, is the work cell setup correct? You define that question and Groundlight will answer your question. And with traditional computer vision, of course, with all that effort of building that custom model, it's going to be very accurate. However, only accurate for the specific scenarios it's trained on. So, when you're wanting to say you want to deploy in a different environment, you're going to need to build another computer vision model again. Versus with LLMs doing computer vision, they are going to be unreliable and inaccurate, and maybe it'll improve in the long run, but where they're at today, it's not necessarily going to be useful to your scenario. Whereas Groundlight, it's going to be accurate for the scenarios it's trained on, and for any new scenarios, say in that case where camera is actually accidentally bumped, it'll be a little bit, it'll ask some humans for help, and then it'll just keep on running again as it does before. And then, of course, there's a question of fast edge inference. Groundlight offers fast edge inference plus fully managed cloud inference. So just to kind of lay out the scene of traditional computer vision versus LLMs that are solving vision problems versus Groundlight. And just to kind of go over a little bit more about what we mean by Groundlight works on day one, with traditional computer vision here at the bottom, there's a lot of different steps that you need to get through before you can deploy. So you have to collect the training data, then you have to label, then you have to train, then you can finally deploy maybe months later. And it depends on, are you using, depends on, I guess, the problem you're solving. But say your environment changes, it breaks, and you basically have to start over. With Groundlight, and it's because of humans in the loop, you can deploy a working application on day one. And so in the case of, your application's chugging along and then it sees something it has never seen before, it'll escalate to a real human in real time who will help guide the model towards the correct answer. So as a result, it keeps learning and it's adjusting on the job. And this is also just to show the process of where human judgment is amplified. And essentially, you're getting unique models being automatically trained for your questions. And then it's getting a selection of custom tuned proprietary models. And then we also have Groundlight's 24/7 data labelers. And just to kind of close things out a little bit, I'll finish off by showing some of our latest documents, as well as where you can go to find like the latest guides and the latest docs. So with research and evidence, just our scientists internally, they're always kind of taking a look and seeing like, okay, how does Groundlight compare to other, I guess, alternatives. And so here are a couple papers recommend you to take a look at. I'll send out the links later to these as well. But you can see, of course, when it comes to LLMs, they're actually quite bad at answering simple questions about real-world images. For example, is the door of the truck cab open? And you can see that ChatGPT says, no, the door of the truck is not open in the image provided. And here in this case, they were testing, is the needle pointing up or down? And you can see that a lot of these different alternatives were not answering correctly. And then a similar paper as well, where it's just how many times do the lines cross, as well as which letter is being circled, and the performance is not quite stellar. So that is to say, today's LLMs, they're not quite there when it comes to visual understanding. Groundlight also did, also happy to send along this post as well. They took a look at Groundlight with humans in the loop that had 99.9% accuracy at answering this very simple question. Are the red and blue lines crossing? Yes or no? And it's surprising. I was surprised to see that the accuracy for Gemini, Cloud, and ChatGPT are quite low, actually, at a very basic question. And so this was surprising to me, but because Groundlight incorporates humans in the loop, it is able to answer this question accurately. And so here's an example of basically what I pulled from the blog post. This is our dashboard. It's showing that, hey, are the two circles touching each other? Yes or no? And it's showing you the number of queries that are yes, the number that are no. And it has a projected machine learning accuracy of 97, about 98%. So yeah. And then another paper just wanted to highlight about hyperactive learning, where Groundlight only asks for labels on difficult examples. And this is basically what lets us get good accuracy with hundreds of examples instead of thousands or millions. And how does this translate? What does this mean? It means that you get 10 times up to 1,000 times cheaper data labeling costs compared to traditional computer vision model building, which is, this is groundbreaking. So I'll drop that link in the chat as well. So yeah, that concludes the presentation portion, but I'll shift to showing you a little bit more about our current docs. So if you were to visit code.groundlight.ai, just wanted to highlight some of the resources we have available. We have, of course, information on, if you want to use our Python SDK, if you want to use ROS, and again, with just a few lines of code, you can build a working application. So our docs recommend two places to recommend if you want to get started with Groundlight. Of course, recommend getting started with Groundlight's Python SDK, and it gives you a step-by-step. This is essentially the hello world equivalent of building an application. If you want something a little bit more like from start to finish, I recommend checking our guides. We have a lot of great guides, for example, that you can tinker with AI. Tim does a parking spot detector. Oh, sorry, he does here actually a detector of whether the trash can is full. Wonderful video here. And basically he walks you through from setting up your environment to authenticating, how to get the API token, and then essentially, how to write the code, which includes frame grabber, as well as, how often are you capturing those frames? Is it every 5 seconds? Is it every 20 seconds? And then here, optional code for human review as well. The newest guide that came out, very cool. Tyler, a senior machine learning engineer, he uses just an RTSP camera as well as a Raspberry Pi, and he created a hummingbird detector to detect hummingbirds outside his window. So this is something that you can do easily from home if you're interested in observing wildlife. You can set up your own detector outside your window and see for yourself how Groundlight is able to essentially detect when a bird is in the field of view. So very cool, just very easy, easy to follow, intuitive, step-by-step instructions, even what is the RTSP URL. You might be, sometimes that can be a little bit confusing, is how do you find just the RTSP URL of a camera? So yeah, highly recommend taking a look at those. and exploring in computer vision with yourself. So with that, that concludes my presentation on how to build computer vision solutions. I showed a couple of examples, just a way for you to tinker with AI applications yourself, but hopefully seeing how easy and how quickly you can deploy can also open up the concept of, okay, how do I apply this to my business? How do I generate actually revenue for my own business by harnessing this computer vision technology? So with that, I will just ask if there's any questions and any comments. Please feel free to drop in the chat. And let me put the link to this detector. Sorry, to this guide, since it's our newest guide. Oh, I did not mean to put this one, put the other one. Oh, okay, I'll send it out later. For some reason, I'm not able to copy it, but. Okay, if there aren't any questions, then thank you so much for joining and have a good rest of your day. And if you have, if you want to contact me directly, you're welcome to email me at julia@groundlight.ai. We also have, of course, support@groundlight.ai as well. So happy to connect you to an applications engineer if you have something more specific about running Groundlight on Edge, for example, or if you want to build your own application at home to, say, detect hummingbirds outside your window. Thank you so much.